Hi, everybody watching this. My name is Kevin Piczer. So I've worked with the ODI program for ages and ages. I'm sure Zaid and Graham just love to see my face whenever they pop up in a recording or whenever I stop by their cubicles. I wanted to make this video to kind of give back in a sense. When I took the MCAT and studied for it, I had the opportunity to be in a pre-medical frat, and it helped me along some of the things and made it easier for me, but there is some stuff I wish I knew sooner. And this is the way, hopefully, for any ODI student or faculty member who wants to know these things sooner. I can start, you'll have a video of this in my lovely face to see and to go over some things because, the MCAT is a little crazy and there's a lot of things to know. And what this video I'm going to focus on is the MCAT prep and the cost of the prep and what to expect from the MCAT and all that fun stuff. So I made a lovely little slideshow with a whole bunch of pictures, and we're just going to go through it. So yes, you read CH for the talk, the MCAT talk. Congratulations. So what is the MCAT? The MCAT, it's either, depending on when you take this or how long COVID lasts, it's either 7 hours and 30 minutes or it's 5 hours and 45 minutes. I took it for the 5 hour and 45 minute shortened time. I like that better than the 7 hour, 30-minute one, but it all depends on, when they switch it back from COVID. It's made up of 4 sections. One is Chem Phys, one is CARS, one is Biochem, one is Psych Soc. It's percentile based grading. So what that means is there's an average. It doesn't matter how many you get right. It matters how many other people get right in a sense. Excuse me, it's percentile based grading. Oh my God. And it's between a 472 to 528 with 500 being smack dab in the middle at 50% or 50th percentile. Each section is weighted exactly the same. There are 3 content sections: Chem Phys, Biochem, and Psych Soc. They all revolve around content. And CARS is how akin to a beefy reading ACT. It's extrapolating things from a passage and kind of like your reason. It's critical analysis and reasoning. It's testing your reasoning skills. And how expensive is the MCAT itself? Well, it's $320 to sign up. And the prep can matter a lot. They can be anywhere from $25 to upwards of thousands of dollars. And so I want to make this video to kind of go over some of the preps. And success doesn't matter how much you spend. Just like wearing articles of clothing that are $10,000 may not make you cooler. It really depends on how you use the stuff and what stuff best suits you. So how much does the MCAT itself matter? It's hard to say. You do need to get a good enough MCAT score to get past digital shredders, and what that means if you have like a 480, the school, schools go through 8,000 applicants and they can only accept 200 or 100, and they need a way to, thin it out a bit. And what they might do is they might look if you have an academic misconduct, look if you have a lower GPA, look if you have a lower MCAT. Now it's not saying that, if your GPA is not a 3.3, they're not going to accept you. That's not true. It's just lower than you would think to be for applying. There are some very score-driven schools like NYU Grossman who love to boast about the high MCAT scores they have. The average MCAT at OSU is a 514. I think it's around an 85th, 88th percentile. The MCAT and the GPA kind of prevent the door from being locked. Your experiences get you into the building, and who you are gets you into the school. So it's not the defining factor. It will help you get in, but it's going to help you get through those doors, but it's not going to be the sole factor. If it was, then only people with 528s would get in. When does the studying start? Usually it starts about 6 months out. You need to it depends on how much of a background you already have. You need to get a background in those 3 content-based sections. You won't remember the terms from your Psych 1100 class, so don't put it off. I didn't remember anything from it. And, it really does matter that you develop a background for this material. This is not the most important phase. This may be the longest, but it should not be all of your time. I'll get more about the different phases in a little bit. 2 classes that aren't mandatory for pre-med, but I thought that really helps were Physio 3200, the biochem section. Biology is mostly physiology. You might not know that, but literally most of the biology field, it's not bio 1113, it's not bio 1114, it's mostly physio. So be prepared for that. Emulsion 4500 also helps a little bit. The other pretty much essential classes, you don't have to take them per se, but they will help cut a decent chunk out of the content review phase. If you take the physics, psych soc, biology 1113, 1114, chem 1210, 1220, ochem, biochem, those are some of the classes that I think they're pre-med requirements. And you want to take those to kind of bolster your MCAT reviewing success. The first thing I want to get into is Anki. If I could just tell you one thing to download and stop the video right here, it would be this. This is the reason that I did so well in the MCAT. Anki is literally the best thing in the world. It's repetition-based learning. So what it is it's a flashcard app. It's either 25 bucks on your phone or free to download on your computer. Do whatever suits you. I had both of them because I thought it was really easy to either right before I go to bed or right when I wake up in the morning to do flashcards. Basically what it is you see a term. There's a ton of, you can download pre-med decks too. I had a 4,000 card deck that I downloaded online, so I didn't have to make that. Like there's people who did very well in the exam that were gracious enough to share their Anki decks, and you can download those, and they are super, super helpful. So back to the point, what Anki is it's a flashcard app, and you tap it, and you will either, how well you do on that card determines how long until you see it again. It could be an hour, could be a day, could be 3 days. The more you get the question right, the further it'll put it back. So eventually it'll put it back like a week, then 2 weeks, then a month, then a couple months, and then basically you'll never see it again when you know it for sure. Kevin's F-ups was my mistake deck. Basically, any mistake I made on any of my practice things, I would put it in just so I could internalize it. Like I said, if you could do anything for this, Anki helped me the most, and it was the cheapest thing to buy, and it literally was amazing. Kaplan, I have very mixed feelings about Kaplan. A lot of people give different reviews. Personally, for me, I didn't like the Kaplan courses too much. What I liked most about them is they gave you AAMC Practice, which I will get to later, but they're okay. They're Q bank, and what that means is a question bank. It's way too hard. It's not at all reflective of the exam. It puts you down more than it actually helps you. It's way too specific, but so the Q bank wasn't very good. They give you lectures and such. I took the self-paced. People who took the in-person kind of didn't like it as much, but people who enjoyed Kaplan took the self-paced one and really liked that. If you need structure and you have the $1,500 to $2,000 to spend on it, you could take this course and it will help you. The practice, they do give Kaplan exams. The Kaplan exams, they're not super reflective, but you need to be taking exams. I think I took 8 to 10. I took 4 AAMCs the month before my exam. And then the 5 months before that, I took probably about 6 Kaplans. So practice tests really do matter. Kaplan gives you access to the AAMC practice material and Kaplan tests. The books are pretty good. They're pretty good for content review. It's hard not to get lost in them. The Anki decks I made that I downloaded were actually, they pulled stuff from the MCAT books, Kaplan books. So, that could be a good alternative. The books they're about 50 bucks. Nowhere near the price of the class. So you can buy them from some random person here, or the OSU pre-med or r/OSU kind of helps out with that. So really it's up to you. If you have the money to spend and you really need structure, this might be important to, this might be good for you. If you don't have the money to spend or you don't need the structure, there'll be some other stuff that you can figure out, and I'll get to that later. If you're just looking for the exams, Exam Crackers has some exams. None of the exams besides the AAMC one look very good or look a ton like the MCAT. But if you're just looking for the exams, those should do. Princeton is another one. Nojin threatened me, my roommate, unless I didn't, if I didn't put this picture in that he made. That man that LeBron James / me is dunking on is the Princeton review guy that you will see ads for incessantly every day for the rest of your life. I have taken the MCAT in June. I still keep getting ads for him, and it's super annoying. They might be, I have not taken Princeton. They might be the same as Kaplan. It's going to be the same cost, same deal. You can ask someone. I personally don't know anybody who took Princeton who liked it more than Kaplan. It was about the same. So if there's a deal on one of them, maybe you pick up the other one. Khan Academy. Now this is a great resource. If you don't have the money to spend on the Kaplan courses, Khan Academy offers a free MCAT course until the 21st of September 2021. So it's the best free alternative by far. It was incredibly helpful. I would go on to Khan Academy videos when I was stuck on something, and I would just watch the hours worth of videos on that little niche that I was stuck on, and it helped me a ton. Jack Westin, this one's another free daily CARS practice. It's not super, so CARS, the critical analysis and reasoning, basically how it's functioned is you have a passage to read, and then you have like 4 to 6 questions or 4 to 8 questions to answer about it. It's very similar to the ACT reading. These are good practice to get you into the mindset of the CARS section. They're about 8 minutes a day. And you know, some of the explanations are pretty, I'm still mad about, but these are invaluable because they are free, because they update every single day, and you get to practice and you get to hone your CARS skills. CARS takes the longest to master. So if you're, you know, I think Psych Soc is the easiest, or it takes the shortest amount of time, because this isn't like, oh, reviewing content. This is honing how fast you read, how much you can extrapolate, stuff like that. So if you need the practice for this, start Jack Westin as soon as you can. It will help a lot. Okay, so transition phase is after about 3 months of content review, and mileage may vary. You know, if you need to start earlier than 6 months out for content review, do that. Maybe if you are already a king at content review, you can start earlier or start later, or you can transition to this phase earlier. This is just what I did. Basically, the transition phase is you want to get into very QBank heavy material and doing practice exams about 2 to 4 times a month based on your schedule. You need to get a grasp of how the test questions work. I think this is a huge factor, is learning how AAMC writes their questions and what they're looking for. You can't possibly know everything this exam asks you to. It's too much content. But what you can do is you can prepare yourself by taking practice questions and learning what they're looking for, or learning how people write questions. Sometimes I could just pick out the answer because of how it was worded. When you get to that level of mastery, you know you're going to do very well in the exam. And doing QBank heavy materials will do that. And when I say you still want to do content review, just maybe do a little bit less content review and replace it more with QBank heavy stuff. QBank's in the middle. Some of the resources I'll get into later really do help with, you know, they give you a question and they'll explain it a ton. And then you want to be doing Anki as well. You want to be doing Anki every day for 6 months. Get used to it. It's incredibly helpful, I promise you, but you still want to do it during the transition phase. So this is adding on a lot more QBank questions, and you're also doing some content review just to keep things going. So UWORLD. Nick Rushlow is the man that showed me this, and it is, I think it's a great resource. I think it's the second best resource on top of Anki. It's a question bank, and what that means is they just give you questions, they give you passages, and you can do them on your own time, and they give you 1,900 questions to use. It's the perfect way to bridge questions and to bridge content and AAMC practice. It's a great tool. It's about $180. I think it's cheaper if you get it for like 1 month or 3 months if you want to bang it out in there. I think that this is great. They explain things very well. They explain things a lot better than the $1,500 Kaplan course, and they give you ample practice problems to do. It's for everything. It's for chemistry. It's for organic chem. It breaks them up into all these little sections, and you can really do what you're poorly at, and you can take it home with UWORLD. And I think this is a great resource. Non-AAMC practice exams, it's a necessary evil, if you ask me. Like I said, this will be different for everybody. And I talked about this earlier. Kaplan exam crackers are not super representative, but they build testing stamina and will force you to think outside the box. They force you to learn these questions. I set Saturdays aside to practice, to do practice exams. I think I took, like 6 Kaplan ones and 4 AAMC ones. They're included with the Kaplan course. The exam crackers, I think, is $200 for 6 of them. You might be able to find better deals on this, but practice exams are very, very important. Just so you can build up that 7.5 hours of sitting at a computer screen doing an exam, or just so you can start learning how to take a test or how to take this test in particular. They aren't the best, but they do help a lot. So that's why I call it a necessary evil. So the AAMC phase starts about a month to a month and a half left. You need to be fully transitioned to just QBank and AAMC materials. And I'll talk about those in a bit. AAMC are the people who make the MCAT. Their materials they give you, they're invaluable because they are cheap and they are super representative. So the costs for them, I think they're relatively cheap. I put this link in to go to this during our presentation, but compared to Kaplan, they're like nothing. The practice exams for exam crackers, it was like, so yeah, I think it's $224 for everything. And this gives you like a month's worth of practice. If you don't want to spend the $224, you can just get the 4 practice exams for like, what is it, $100? And those things will increase your score like crazy. They are super, super important. Let me go back to the present. Yeah, they are amazing. There's a couple things to avoid. And when we're in this phase, I just want to talk about a couple things to avoid. Student doctor network. So this thing it's good and bad. It does provide a lot of resources to people, but there is so many people who brag about their 528s and, oh, am I going to get into med school with a 4.0 and a 528? And like, it's so incredibly toxic. It would always kill my motivation when I got onto there, and I just stopped going. After I took my MCAT, I actually made a fake account named Chad Wellington to troll these people that would be like, oh, I got a 528 and a 4.0. Like, I don't think I did very well. And I'll just be like straight to, I don't know. I'd say some dumb stuff like, yep, you should like, I don't know, just go to McDonald's or something weird like that. Like those people frustrate me so much. It's not fair to just like shove your success down other people's throats. I don't like it. R/pre-med, it's better. People are a lot more supportive than that. There's less people bragging. There still are, but sometimes it would just, the stories and stuff would put you into a feedback loop or make you incredibly anxious. And I just avoided it too. So AAMC practice exams, they are the best source of review. When you take your exams, you want to take them in a testing environment. You want to review your mistakes, like your medical school, like you attending medical school depends on it. And then you can put them into Anki. Just a nitpick, test 4 is absurdly hard, so don't worry if your score drops. And then, your score can be very different from these AAMC exams to the real world. I jumped up points on mine. Some people can go down, some people can go up like crazy. My roommate went up 7 points. I went up 3 points. It really depends. So don't let test scores discourage you. As one of my friends, Bailey, said, you want to take these, you want to do the best you can on them. You want to take them in a testing environment. If things don't go your way, just look at the questions, see what you did wrong, put them into Anki. It's hard to forget about it, but keep that as like motivation in the back of your mind. Like, okay, yeah, I'm going to do better. The AAMC Section Bank, it's hard, but they do a very good job at, you being able to review stuff. It really does test your content knowledge. At this point, I talked about the 1 QBank being super hard at Kaplan, but that was 6 months out. This is like 1 month out. I think that these are pretty representative of the hard questions. Not every question is going to be as hard as this. If you do all 300 questions and you score less than 65% on a section, go ham on the content on that section. If you score over, maybe go ham a little bit less. I think somebody said 65% was a good view if you're going to do very well on that, or if you need to study some more. AAMC question banks, they're the polar opposite. Everything is really easy. If you're going to skip on some AAMC practice, skip on the question banks. But if you were to skip on any practice, I would say skip on a course and then get these instead, because these are still representative. They are very easy compared to the section bank. Not every question will be this easy. The cars is the opposite. The cars is incredibly hard. So don't get put down if you do bad on the cars. I think I got like a 1 out of 6 on like the first 3. It was all about like, it was like some old English dialect. And then they were like talking about Aristotle or something. It was ridiculous. So the day before, and I want to talk about this in your health and wellness during the study session. So before we get to the day before, let's just talk about support and resources. 6 months of studying for one exam is tough. It's hard. There's one of the hardest parts about this exam is staying motivated for 6 months. I would study the week, take a practice exam on Saturday, and just not do anything on Sunday except Anki, and just hang out with friends or chill out or do something. You know, it depends on how you want to do. You need a support system when you take this exam. If you just do this by yourself, you know, it's going to be very hard. It's going to be harder than it needs to be. Me and my roommate, we would hold each other accountable. We would chill out when we needed to chill out. Your mental health really, it matters more than an MCAT exam. If you have to take a couple of days off because you're feeling burnt out, take a couple of days off. It's going to be okay. So just make sure that when you're going through this exam that you have a good mindset. You know, if you're scrambling, studying 10 hours a day and freaking out every day, like before you go to bed, you know, it's not going to be as helpful as if you're only studying 4 hours a day and you had a good mental state. So I can't stress this enough of just find ways to make this work into your schedule without breaking you as a human being. That's what I'll leave it at. And then the day before we get to that, chill. Anything you study really isn't going to help. I think I reviewed the amino acids the day before and that was it. I just kind of chilled out and, you know, let all the anxiety come in and out and just try and breathe. And so I give you my spiel on all that stuff, but you know, it really matters on how you are. This is just supposed to be a guideline. If you think that the Kaplan courses will really help you, research it. I ask some people about it. You can always ask me or something about it. You know, figure it out. Maybe you don't really like UWORLD. Maybe you like something else. You know, it's going online and talking to people or talking to friends or family who did this. You know, it may give you a broader sense of things besides me just giving you my spiel. You know, like I said before, don't let it consume your life. Take breaks. The hardest part about this test is to keep studying. Anyone who's taken it can always help with questions. And if I had to make a budget exam, I would do if I had to make like I don't want to say the bare bones because you can probably do this with just Khan Academy and Anki. But I think the best bang for your buck would be Anki, UWorld, AAMC Prep, and Jack Westin. Anki is free. Jack Westin is free. You can do Khan Academy till the 21st, 2021 of September. That's also free. UWorld, it's like 180 bucks. AAMC is 200 bucks. And then remember, going for the MCAT is about $320. So it really depends on how much you want to spend on this. It sucks that becoming a doctor is just a money pit, and you know, med school is going to be another lots and lots of money. So it really depends how you feel about spending on this stuff. Like I said, I think those are the best. UWorld and AAMC would be the best bang for your buck. And then if you can find a way to get some practice exams, that would be good too. Just know that, you know, it's not the end of the world if you do bad on this thing. Like obviously you can retake the test, you can do very, very well, but you know, you should take this seriously. This is going to open up another chapter of your life. So, you know, make sure that you come in prepared. And if you need to take it again, there's no shame in that. You know, I think I know a lot of people take it again. I think somebody told me one time that like the average number of MCATs people take that are in med school are like 2 to 3. I don't know if that's true or not, but you know, it's not a bad thing to retake, and that's a topic for another time. But you know, just go in, prepare how you would normally prepare. Hopefully use these as a guidelines to help. And yeah, I wish you the best of luck. So if there is demand for it, or if Zaid commands it, I can always make more about writing about the primary application or the secondary application because I've gone through that stuff. And yeah, that's it for today. So best of luck on your MCAT studying. Hopefully I haven't given you too much of a sense of existential dread. And yeah, best of luck, and you'll get into med school. Don't worry about it.